Emmett Sheehan, Connor Brogdon, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Max Muncy, Joe Kelly, Ryan Brazier, Clayton Kershaw, Brusdar Gatterall, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Michael Grove, Walker Bueller, Mookie Betts, and Jason Hayward. What do all those names have in common? They are all on the IL. That is a full starting lineup and a full starting pitching rotation and bullpen, frankly, and an all-star level one at that, with Mookie Betts and Max Muncy being all-star hitters. The Dodgers are suffering attrition like I don't think we've seen from the Dodgers recently. I think it's also because we've seen other players go on the IL and have come back and look horrible, like Bobby Miller again. But this really feels like we are experiencing something crazy because today Tyler Glasnow got placed on the IL. So that makes 1, 2, 3 of our projected starting 5 pitchers on the IL, and Clayton Kershaw's still there, and Bobby Miller went on as well. So every single one of our projected August final starting pitchers have been or are currently on the IL right now. So Matthew, this is a crazy segue or like the transition to you, but what the hell do we do with this?
I honestly don't know, and I feel like the Dodgers are cursed. This happens every year. How fully healthy they have a 6-man rotation, or well, I can't even say like fully healthy because there's May, there's Shohei for God's
Yeah,
sakes. Well, like going into the year, we had our 6 guys. Was it 6? Yeah, we had
just
our
about.
6 guys, and I mean, every today on July 9th, whatever it is, every single one of those 6 guys, except Stone, is either awful or hurt. And I don't know what to do. Bobby Miller has looked horrendous, like absolutely just horrendous. Glass now is like the best strikeout pitcher in the league. He's now on the IL. Yamamoto, as a freaking rookie, has been just absolutely dominant. It's not looking like he's gonna ever pitch again. Bueller, IL, terrible, IL. Paxton's pretty not great. It's not very good. And then Kershaw's had like 5 different setbacks, but apparently he's close to making a start. So we're screwed. Honestly, we got our asses kicked by the Phillies. You know they're gonna be flexing, beating a team where half the team is hurt. And without that being said, we're still like clearly gonna win the division. I think we're top 3, top 5 records in the league. But the worst part about this is the pitching's been the strength. Like the offense has struggled with Muncy out this whole time, and now with Mookie out. They're lucky Shohei is the greatest athlete I've ever seen. It's just we don't really have an identity right now because of the injuries, which is so sad. It's funny going from the Lakers where it's just like, oh my God, can they do something right? To the Dodgers where Friedman, that front office is just they just execute to perfection every single year, and then the injuries come up and they have to make a trade at the deadline. What hurts me the most is we literally talked about this. We were like, every single year we have an all-star rotation, but because of injuries we're forced to make a move, and that keeps us from maybe going at the offense. And so what I was thinking is like, this year is this finally the year where the injury bug doesn't hit us enough to where we don't have to add a pitcher at the deadline. There's no way. We absolutely have to. We lost Yamamoto. If Miller's bad, if Bueller's bad, Glass now just went on the IL for lower back tightness. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's looking terrible right now. You know, either someone gets called up and starts shoving, or we need to make a trade.
Yeah. The most recent call up was just Justin Robleski. He's an interesting prospect. He didn't do great his first time out. Wasn't horrible. For rookie lose against a division leader in the Brewers. But yeah, I think even beyond the injuries, which are horrible, and I genuinely don't think Yamamoto is going to pitch again this year. It's been a month since he's been on the IL, and it's been complete silence. They know something's bad, and they don't want to say anything. Kershaw, I'm honestly expecting to start maybe 2 or 3 times all year. Set 5 setbacks for an old man coming off of major shoulder surgery is not something I care to see. They're pretending that Dustin May is going to pitch this year, which he will not because they're not going to make him a bullpen guy. But he's, I guess, throwing. But like right now, Gavin Stone is the ace of his, or the number one of his staff. I'll give him the ace respect. Gavin Stone, even though he had a kind of a rough outing his last time out. Landon Knack is the second best pitcher, starting pitcher we have currently. James Paxton recovered and threw 6 innings and gave up 3 or 4 runs, I think, which is a James Paxton start that I'm fine with. And then I hate even looking at his name right now. Bobby Miller is number 4, and he should be number 5. Frankly, if Bobby Miller was not Bobby Miller, he would have been 60-day IL'd for some fake injury or DFA'd. He's been horrible, and he's looked horrible. Like, he has no feel for the ball. He doesn't know where it's going. And then when he does know where it's going, it's 0-2 right down the middle. I mean, it's the same stuff we've talked about with him for a while, but I think today was particularly frustrating because Jesus Christ, that is horrific. Sorry, we're recording this the day that he got blown up by the Phillies for 9 runs in 4 innings. Just to be clear. But yeah, I don't even know who we have as options. Like, we have 2 bullpen games right now, essentially, because Landon Knack is basically an opener. He's been solid, but they don't let him go more than like 4 innings. So that's a bullpen game. Bobby Miller is going to get shelled out of the game by the 3rd inning every start. So that's a bullpen game. And then we have a literal bullpen game that we need to fill for the 5th start right now. I don't know what we're going to do. It's crazy saying this. I think this is the most we've needed a starting pitching move like immediately in a very long time. Or in a long time since the Friedman era has started and since we've been like dominant because I don't know what to do. I've been offline for a little bit, so I don't know if there's like rumors about calling up more guys, like throwing them into the fire like we did with Stone and Miller last year. But then we saw what happened to Stone last year, and maybe like it's I think it's helped him for this year. But bringing up young guys like Robleski might have to wear it. That I don't know. Like, he's a little early for him. He's only 23. Like we have these young pitchers that have to wear these awful starts against tough opponents immediately when they're not ready, because every single pitcher's been hurt, and the guy like Walker Buehler is not even, or he's injured, but he went literally said, "Yeah, I've been horrible. I need to go on the IL." So even when guys are moderately healthy, they performed so poorly that we have no other choice but to put them on the IL and call up somebody younger and probably not even ready like Bobby Miller and then Robleski. And now I don't even know where we go. Like, we're waiting for Kyle Hurt to come back, I guess.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they do make a move. I mean, the All-Star break is approaching, I guess. Maybe Glasnow comes back. I don't know. It it's just the fact that they haven't made like a July, or well, trade deadlines, coming close. They haven't made like a really early season move in a while, and like you said, they haven't needed one in a while. So I'm just wondering what they're gonna do. Maybe there's because like this team is sucks right now. Like, this team is not gonna be great. So maybe they're okay with that for now and just hope these guys gonna get healthy. But I don't know. There's like no. It's just I can believe we're here because this was like my biggest fear all along. It happens to the Dodgers every single time. I mean, every single time they always have this freaking stellar rotation. Injuries, 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 injuries. Happens every time. But if you think about a month ago, we're talking about, oh my God, Glasnow's so good. Oh my God, Yoshi's so good. Oh my God, Stone's been such a surprise. And then Bueller's coming back. And then look where we are now. It's really rough. And, the offense going through it too. Two of the best hitters on the team, one of the best players in the world are hurt on offense. I think a lot of people forget about that. Two of the 9 guys are hurt. 2 of our best guys. So it's just like, what are we supposed to do? And one of our 3 best bullpen guys. I don't know where to go from here. Do you think they'll make one of those moves just to get some freaking innings?
I don't think so. If they didn't last year, when I kind of exaggerated, saying we haven't needed to move in a while. I think they, if last year's team showed any promise of being good in the playoffs, I was off last year's team very quickly. I didn't even the first time in my like the last 10 years that I didn't go to a single Dodger game. Um, Last year that team needed so much help, and they traded for Lance Lynn, so it's like I've maybe they want to do one of those moves again. But like this team, in spite of everything, I think if you put them in the playoffs and you're even moderately healthy, just give us the lineup back. If we get the lineup back, I think we could do something. And this is a team worth investing in. And not even worth. This is a team you have to invest in because you just spent the most money in a single offseason ever. If they say, oh, we're getting guys back healthy as like the trade deadline develops, when you have the most injured, if not the most like how partially top five most injured starting rotations in baseball, and one of the worst like attrition that's been hit for your franchise in a very long time at the starting pitching, then that's unacceptable. That is the first time I will say that Friedman like messed up. Like completely he ruined the team or this specific roster. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect a big move. I'm not expecting a big move at all. I'm expecting them to get somebody because they're gonna realize Yoshi's not coming back. Well, they probably already know that, but they're gonna admit that Yoshi's not coming back this year. They're gonna see that Kershaw is not ready. They're gonna see that Glasnow going on the IL at the All Star break isn't just a little break. He's not gonna be back until mid August. Walker Bueller will maybe be ready to pitch again, but he won't be good. Bobby Miller is not going to fix himself. Like, these are your five main people, and they're all not going to pitch. Or if they pitched, you're going to be upset that they're pitching. And they're probably going to. I don't even know who they would go after. I don't know what targets are there. But it's going to be maybe an innings eating guy, or maybe they get like a swing man, or I don't know. But it's not going to be. It's not going to be something that inspires hope in anyone. To me.
One thing I will say though is last year I think Friedman knew all along Shohei's coming in the offseason. Friedman knew last year wasn't gonna win anything. And I respect that honestly. It was like kind of a gap year. We went from like 2020 could have been one of the greatest teams ever. 2021 one of the most talented teams ever. 2022 literally one of the best regular season teams ever. 2023 while we were living it, we knew like when we look 20 years from now, this is probably going to be the worst team we ever had. And I think he knew that. I think that's why he tried to get Erod, but I don't forgot what the hell happened with that. So he settled for Lance Lynn. I think all along he knew that. This year, all the money they spent, having the best player in the world, the biggest star in the world, baseball star in the world, I think he's going to go for it no matter what. Because if Glasnow's okay, you have Glasnow Stone. If you can get another starter, then it's worth it. And Friedman has always been aggressive. Friedman's always been fantastic. The lineup's still incredible because Mookie or no, I won't say Muncy. I don't know what's going on with Muncy. Mookie will be back eventually, and with the lineup there is, if they can do, because again 2021 we were really really hurt as well. That's why we lost that year.
Yeah.
But they were able to get. I mean, there's no Trey Scherzer package on the line right now. But if you can get an innings eater and you get like a legit good starter, maybe a bat, like I think Friedman will make a move like that because he knows the talent this team has, for one. Number two, the money they spent. Number three, I don't think he's gonna not do something for 2 straight years. Considering what happened last year, 2023. Friedman wants to win, more than anything. So I do think he would make a move if there is someone available.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, seeing how these highly touted prospects have played out for them, like Gavin Stone is the only pitching prospect in honestly a little bit like start like guy that would get you value in a trade when he was in the minors that's panned out. And even then it took a year. Like Bobby Miller, I'm not saying trade Bobby Miller. You wouldn't get anything back for Bobby Miller. But like you and I have held this belief for a while. Prospects exist to be traded. If you have someone like a crazy, surefire, stupid athletic hitter, maybe you hold on to him and kind of rush him up and see what he does. But even then, like, unless Jordan Alvarez is the only Dodger player, quote unquote Dodger farmhands that was like a genuine, oh my god, why did we trade this person? And by the way, that was just the Dodgers doing the Astros a favor because the Astros did not have international field money. Jordan Alvarez didn't even put on a Dodger jersey. They signed him and then immediately traded him to the Astros for some reliever that the Dodgers for I mean Josh Fields, but like for a reliever they asked for. So that's just a little bit of information there. It's not like they saw Jordan player and were like, oh, okay, they signed him for the Astros. I just want to make that clear. O'Neal Cruz is like cool, and you probably don't want to trade like crazy lottery ticket type players like him for relievers like Tony Watson. But even then, should have won the World Series in 2017, so it would have been worked out because Tony Watson was an important part. But like, get rid of these guys. Miguel Vargas is he's been good when he's been up this year, but they have a guy that can't play DH because Shohei's here. He can't play the infield for some reason because they think that he shouldn't be playing the infield because Kevin Biggio is such a great fielder. And he's bad in left field. And even then, he's reduced to a platoon. And that was our best hitting prospect in like a couple years. Diego Cartaya was the best catching prospect in baseball, even though you had the best catcher in baseball blocking him and signing him to a 10-year extension. You were like planning to extend him. And he outstayed his welcome, and he's not been good for 2 years. If you have value, move the players. I'm fine. Well, this is another thing where it's like, I don't want to question Friedman. I never do. But I'm just over the concept of like wanting to hold on to top guys specifically because maybe he can help out. This team has a core that is set for a long time. If you have guys that can bring in guys that are young, like it would be the pieces we're talking about that would be high impact are like guys like Tariq Skubal or something like that who will be around. He's a young, elite as hell starting pitcher, which is going to make him expensive, but those are the guys you trade the young guys for anyway. Not like you're not trading them for Lance Lynn. Even though they low-key kind of did. Nick Nastrini was a higher value guy. He was been horrible with the White Sox, but they got it. That's a good return for Lance Lynn, realistically. Just I don't know. If you're trading for elite guys, let go of your prospects. And again, Friedman does that, so it's not like being upset at him. But I'm just done with the fan like, oh, but we can't get rid of this guy. I'm over it. I'm just over it.
Yeah, prospect hugging is one of the stupidest things. Do we miss Keibert? Do we miss Josiah Gray? These guys pan out. Okay, great. That's good for them. We need this guy right now. Our future's set. Just get what we need, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do feel confident in Friedman, but it feels like it's gonna be like we need to plug in. We need to fix what's gone wrong because of injuries rather than adding, what, could make this team, special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what sucks about this thing the most.
Yeah, for sure. And like I don't think we've had a need more glaring on both sides of the ball, to be frank, because Dodgers' bottom lineup is still an ice. Like genuinely, it's an atrocity for baseball. It's embarrassing that we have to watch Kevin Biggio and Chris Taylor and Kike Hernandez play. Like it's embarrassing for this team to play these people. So yeah, we have the most clear needs we've ever had in the Friedman era of Dodger baseball in terms of like having elite contenders on the roster, which we do. And it's crazy to think that this offseason was like the precursor to having these insane needs, but we have them. And at some point I think we will fill them. But until that happens, it's going to be some very hard to watch baseball being played in Dodger Nation. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon. Peace.